All right, enough of that. How are y'all doing? We're back for another one. This one much more structured, much more not such an instant reaction here. But I hate to say this, my opinion have not changed. AD Mitchell still lost us this game. Self-inflicted boom. So today we will talk about and actually talk and not just give a gut upset reaction like I did in the first one. Who actually talk and go a little bit more in depth about what caused the Colts to lose to the Rams. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway, um, self-inflicted wounds. So it wasn't just AD, and yes, AD is still the reason we lost the game, but he wasn't alone. He didn't act alone. We had another pretty glaring issue. We'll talk about that in a moment here. We're getting there. But it was all a bunch of self-inflicted wounds. The interceptions, the penalties. We had lots of penalties. Letting Puka Nakua run wild like we did. It was all pretty much us. That fourth quarter reminded me of the teams of yesterday, like the old Colts who couldn't finish anything, and it it's not like it was just AD Mitchell, but he was a big major contributor. Like it felt like we were gonna lose from that first interception, and I'm normally not like that, but that first interception happened, and I thought, "Yep, this is it. Like this is it. There's no because this game is about momentum, and yes, there was times when we could have won. We had two big mistakes, but when he threw that pick, I'm like, Daniel Jones has returned, and in the worst way possible here. But he didn't. He redeemed himself a little bit. He did have a pretty decent game. 200 something yards. We'll talk about it here in a minute, but I was worried. I thought Daniel Jones had showed himself to be not changed. I turned out to be a bit wrong, but still, the Rams are tough, man. The Rams are a good football team, and we kind of all had this one marked as a loss anyway before the season really started. But I mean, throughout this game, we could have won without these self-inflicted wounds, without AD Mitchell, without Xavier Howard, without Blackman, who fell, and I'm trying to think of his name, Makai Blackman. Without him, who fell and let Tutu Atwell run free. Without those things that we did to ourselves, we would have easily won this game and been 4-0, but we didn't. We lost them 3-0. So, and what they say, that's just the way the old cookie crumbles. Um, but will the team come back from this is the real question. Like, will we be able to put this loss behind us? And the Colts media team did exactly what I thought they would do. Even the people who make like the instant reactions and all that, the coaches, Shane, they all said, "Oh, it's not on AD. It's not on AD Mitchell. It's not on AD. We still have all the Daniel Jones." I have a quote here from him right here. Give me 1 second. Daniel Jones says, "We still have tons of faith in AD. Why? Why do you have faith in him? He's shown you nothing on the field. Sure, plenty of attributes. You watch him at training camp. You watch him at all these things. You'll see that he is a talented mug." But it's the same thing with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, if you were to just watch him play pickup football, you would understand that he's different, like completely different. But the thing with Anthony Richardson and AD Mitchell is you can be as talented as you want, but if you get on the football field and can't make consistent plays, you cannot play in the NFL. And I think that AD needs off this team because he clearly needs to learn. He has some stuff to learn, like about not ask JT about it. So the crazy thing about JD Mitchell is he was a leading receiver with 94 yards, but he has 74 of those on that big play where he decided to drop the ball before he actually got into the end zone. So do 74 of those even count? They shouldn't, but they do. This was AD Mitchell's audition, and I'm not gonna talk about AD Mitchell the whole entire time. We're gonna get to good things, and we're gonna get to other things, but he deserves to be talked about a little bit. This was his audition. Alec Pierce is down, and we all know how. I'm telling you, Alec Pierce is in that game yesterday. We win. You understand what I'm saying? We win this game with Alec Pierce yesterday. But this was AD Mitchell's chance to show himself, and he failed. He failed miserably. He had chance after chance, and he failed. Absolutely, positively blew it. You can't blow it worse than that. Like, yeah, he had a couple catches to maybe redeem himself a little bit, but you can see them huddling. Like, there's photos of this. You can in a video, they're huddling. All the rest of the team, Daniel Jones, the receivers, everybody, the off the lineman, they're all huddling. And what's he doing? What's he doing? He's doing this. This is him. Hold on. Play football or get off the field and go sit on the bench because everyone else on your team is playing football. Everyone else on your team is huddling up to start the next play, and you're still worried about the last one. Like, this is what I'm talking about whenever I say that just because you have talent does not mean you can play in the NFL. I learned this lesson the extremely hard way with Anthony Richardson. Anyway, AD won't face any consequences right now from this because everyone's not blaming him. But I guarantee you, whenever the season's over and he doesn't get signed, we'll all know why. Unless he somehow redeems himself before then, but you know. So putting Xavier Howard on Puka Nacua and then watching Puka Nacua nuke us for almost 200 yards was clearly a mistake. I am no one. I've not played one single down of football in my life, and I can tell you that putting Xavier Howard on Puka Nacua was a terrible decision. You knew it in the first quarter. You knew it on the first play. He gets beat every time. Any slant route, any drag route, any route, really, post, whatever you want to call it, or whatever route you want to call it, is what I was trying to say. He's going to get beat. Xavier Howard needs to sit down. We have two other very capable people behind him, and Jonathan Edwards is his name, and I can't think of his name right now. Why can't I think of this? Oh, it's Mekhi Blackman. I just said the name a second ago. Anyway, get him off the field. Get AD off the field. Moving right along. Speaking of Mekhi, he fell down on that. I looked back at it to see who it was because I kind of thought it was Xavier Howard who had an awful day. Has not done anything good on the football field for the Indianapolis Colts. And you know what? It's not like people who got signed last week can't. Look at Mike Hilton. I mean, what a fumble, right? Like, people who come off the bench can 100 or not, excuse me, come off the couch can 100% help your team. Look at Joe Flacco a couple years ago, but not very often. And so you need to understand that. The refs were bad. Just the refs in general were not good. Like, a couple bad penalties. I don't think, or I know that offensive pass interference on Tyler Warren was not offensive pass interference at all. But I really don't think that was even a hold on AD Mitchell. I mean, it was a hold on AD Mitchell, 100%. But you could call that a lot, and you don't, So, and it's not to excuse him. This is my second podcast in a row where I've been telling you about how badly I think AD Mitchell fucked up. But still, that doesn't mean that he deserves to get penalties called out on that other people are also doing. You know what I'm saying? And that was also no offensive pass interference on Tyler Wharton. It just wasn't one. If you know, you know there. With all that being said, let us bury the AD Mitchell game hatchet. Let us bury the 3-1. We're moving on to 16-1. We're moving on to next week versus the Raiders, who are they're the Raiders. So like they're not great, but they're not bad. They're kind of just okay. Obviously, Max Crosby's really good. Obviously, Geno Smith is a comparable quarterback. Um, the main thing the Raiders are is gritty and gonna fight till the end. And I suspect this game, the Colts come out, probably get to a pretty big lead, and then the Raiders are gonna come back in the third, fourth quarter and really try to put the belt to ass and really try to gain a big lead on us. And we can't let that happen clearly. But I think that we have to stay consistent through the whole game and not let the Raiders do what they do, which is come back and in the last second and all that stuff. And if anything, that's the opposite of what the Colts have been doing for the last few years, is just kind of losing losing the game on a dumb play, like AD Mitchell dropping the ball before he goes, or Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball before he gets to the end zone. And I've seen people listen. I'm on Twitter, okay, so I see this shit. I see people being like, no one was calling for Jonathan Taylor to get cut after he dropped the ball. Yeah, he had done something a lot in the NFL, led the NFL in rushing a couple years before that. You give that guy just a little bit of space, just a little bit of, you know what, maybe we don't, you know, get so mad. I mean, he's mad at himself. And you can say AD Mitchell was mad at himself. I'm not completely convinced of that either, because he seemed like he was just mad that he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Not mad at himself for underperforming. You see how those are different? Like, you gotta understand, like, I did that, I fucked up, but I gotta move on. I'm in the NFL. I have to move on to the next play. Not because he was standing at the line, like, shaking a little bit on those. You can watch this if what I'm talking about. But I mean, I got back with AD Mitchell again, and I said I wasn't going to do that. Sorry, AD. Danny Dimes also did not have the best game of all time. He threw for. Let me find out. Give me a hot thought. I had it pulled up. I guess I don't, because I was sick. Um, he threw for 262 yards, a touchdown. He went 24 for 33, and 2 interceptions. And the 2 interceptions are obviously the problem here. You can't be that first throw was just ill advised, like double covered all that. But you can't go back to doing that, man. Like, I understand no one can be perfect, and throwing a pick in a game, even throwing two in a game, isn't the worst thing of all time, and I understand that. But you can't fall back into this cycle, this old Colts cycle, this whole Daniel Jones cycle of being okay with losing, being okay with big mistakes. Then Daniel Jones coming out after the game and saying, "Oh, I still have tons of trust in AD." Look, even if you do, you don't. I mean, just say like, he made a mistake. It was out of my hands. It sucks for him, but what a great catch. So you can still compliment this man while also understanding that he's not the best or good at all. He's not done anything in the league. You've watched this man, Daniel Jones, I'm talking to you. You've watched this man at training camp, at practice, at all that stuff, ball out. And there's probably no doubt about that. He's had his ups and downs during training camp. But anyway, like, he's not done anything on the football field, Daniel. So why would you trust him? I keep back on him. For saying I'm not going to. Speaking of AD, he led the Colts today in yards, at least, with 90, or yesterday with 96, 3 receptions. 74 of those yards. Bullshit! But anyway. Tyler Ward had 5 catches for 70 yards. He also had a rushing touchdown today, which was very cool. His first touchdown. Pittman caught a touchdown on 5 receptions for 41 yards. Josh Downs caught 4 receptions for 24. Jonathan Taylor caught 5 for 20. Ashton Dulin had a reception for 11 yards. On defense, Nick Cross had 6 tackles. Xavier Howard had 5. DeForest Buckner had 4. Z had 1. Yatu Latu had 3. Latu Latu had a sack. Liatu Latu had a sack. And so did Makai Blackman. So that's pretty cool. Moving on to the stats from the Rams. Oh boy. Matt Stafford threw for 375 yards. 170 of that going to Puka Nacua. Now, stop right there. Why? How did we let this happen, you might wonder to yourself? Well, it's very, very easy. We put Xavier Howard on Puka Nacua whenever all of us were saying, hey, don't do that. I mean, Lunarumo has been great, but like this was a terrible, terrible decision. I don't know how he made it. It's like this is your guy. This is my guy. Well, your guy isn't doing good, and he sucks right now. So get somebody else out there who can do better than him. All right. Anyway, so yeah, 3 touchdowns for him. 1 touchdown for Nakua. 1 touchdown for Tutu Atwell, who had that really a fluke play where Blackman fell down and he got the free play. Devontae Adams for a tutty. He had 4 receptions. Puka Nacua with 13 receptions is absolutely diabolical. And that is a average of 13 yards, 13.1. Colin Williams ran the ball pretty well with 77 yards. Blake Corum with 21. Jonathan Taylor, I said this in the pregame. You got to run the ball with JT. They did 17 times for 76 yards, which is pretty okay. That was at the beginning of the game when we were really driving when Tyler Warden scored that touchdown I'm looking at. And that was, man, we're still thinking 4-0 back then, man, until A.D. Mitchell showed up. Yeah. People say wild shit on Twitter, and myself included. So I want to just kind of share with you a post that I made. And this post got almost 2,000 impressions, which is a lot for me. I usually have like 500. I said I shared this photo of A.D. Mitchell. Follow me on Twitter at JD's Tunes with an apostrophe. No, with underscore, excuse me. I said the Rams did not win this game. They lost it. We handed it right to them. Well, actually, A.D. Mitchell did. Get him off the field. And I wanted to I showed a couple, or excuse me, I saved a couple tweets here. And this one's funny. Daniel Jones looking at A.D. Mitchell in the locker room. Yeah, this is that. We all have a lot of faith in Daniel Jones saying that. Whatever. Welcome back, Daniel Jones. Look at this clip. That first EINT. Double covered. Why'd you do it? It's oh, this is funny. This is a video of Liam Cohen telling Robert Saleh, keep my name out of your mouth afterward. He's yelling at him. That's very funny. I seen that clip earlier and I was like, that it can't be real. So I looked, it's a real, like, I don't understand exactly what it's about. I can't, like, I don't know exactly. It says Saleh made some comments this week about Jacksonville having a legal sign stealing system. He must have said something about that team, but I think it's fucking hilarious that the Jaguars are sticking up for themselves. That's pretty funny. The things that this is another thing that I put out. It says the things that pissed me off the most about the game today. Number 1, A.D. Mitchell's bonehead play. Number 1, 2. Xavier Howard's existence. 3. A.D. Mitchell's boneheaded play number 2. 4. Refs calling OPI on Warren. What the fuck was that? 5. Not running the ball in the first half enough to open up the play action. 6. Dalton Tucker. Good point myself. Dalton Tucker. Let's talk about this. Couldn't help that Taylor Morley was out. You get injured. He got ran over on this one play. Like I remember him getting completely demolished by what was it, Jared Verse? I watched this up too after the game. Uh, Sean McVay shakes hands with the ref. Bad look for the NFL. Got to be honest. And also, I found the Rams Player of the Week. I can't believe it. Look at that. Can't you believe him playing for the Rams? Ain't that nice of him? He's giving them points. Ain't that nice? Okay. So anyway, we're moving on. I said it a minute ago, and I kept harping on 80. We're moving on. There you go. See that? I just moved on. That's how you do it. Next week we're playing the Raiders, and we're gonna win. We're gonna go 16-1. We're gonna lose this game right here to the Rams, and that's gonna be it. And we're gonna go to the playoffs, and we're gonna win the Super Bowl. Yay! Okay. Moving along. Cover 2 more topics really quick. Kentucky lost to South Carolina over the weekend. Not happy about that. They played number 12 Georgia on Saturday. That's a little scary. But the Fever, however, are going to a game 5. That is tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Not going to be awake for that. But yeah, 2-2. This will be for the series. This will be to see if they go to the NBA playoffs. That would be cool. It would be so sweet. I've been following the Fever for a couple years now, and especially without Caitlin Clark to go to the finals, man, that would be nuts. But one more final thought here is I don't think we were awful. I think we can bounce back. And yeah, I'm hopeful for the rest of the season. I'll see you guys on the pre-game or preview show of the Raiders versus the Colts. Thank you guys so much for listening.